Welcome to Beauties and Beasties, the independent pest podcast for the UK.
Hello, hello, hello. How are we all doing?
Good evening. And how are we? And what have we learnt this week?
We learned we're not equipped for the weather. The other thing is I went back and had a look at the other podcast and noticed that on the, I don't know if you did it intentionally, but the pictures to start off with. Number one, yeah, Sean does have a big head. But did the computer intentionally make me like a foot shorter than the pair of you? In the middle,
well, you know, like, the AI prompt.
Yeah. Did you ask it specifically to make him look like a dwarf? Please
make the middle one look like Gimli. Make the other two look like angry bald men.
It's Gimli and the bobbleheads.
So yes. Right. As you'll notice that I have no lights on tonight because a degree higher of heat, whatever it is going to absolutely crucify me. So, because the sun comes in this window, and it's absolutely chuffing baking.
Oh, it's my little office, you know. So I built this. This is the crooked cabin. I built this with my own fair hands, and the reason that there is a spirit level there is because the desks and everything perfectly flat, perfectly straight. But if you have a look, they don't line up with any of the boarding on the wall. It looks as though it's all on the piss. And it's not the stuff inside that's on the piss. It's the whole building itself is on the wibbledy-wobbledy. You can see that.
I until you mentioned it, I hadn't taken any notice at all. But now you have. I'm looking at that piece of cladding and the ducting, and it's
breaking dead straight. The desks are dead straight. It's the walls that I've. So it's the crooked cabin, but it's got a bitumen roof on the top, so it gets to about 37 degrees in here around about 2 o'clock. It is unreal, absolutely unreal. But there we go.
What are you reading, mate?
I'm just looking at this article from Andy Sinevsky.
Oh, I've got that down here. Yeah.
I was quickly looking. Well, I've read the article, but I was just quickly looking at the comments because I think the one thing this podcast has done more than anything is it's sort of shown us the differences and the similarities in the American market in our own.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to have an interesting discussion about that tonight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Are we going straight into it, or are we yakking first, as they say?
No, I was thinking, I've still got my sort of like list of questions for you, and it's nice having you both on here.
Would you rather?
No, it's not. Would you
burn
rather
yourself to death in a loft, or would you rather freeze your ass off in a blast chiller?
Oh, blast chiller every time. I will take that. I will turn into like that little sort of like Boris. I am invincible ice cube. Every time over that sort of like Sarah Connor Terminator.
Sean, freeze to death, or inside a giant ball on top of a fire.
I'm definitely turning into a cold person rather than a hot person, but the heat is a nice change. I think you've just got to embrace it, don't you? Yeah. I tell you what has really annoyed us this week. I can't believe how soft we are becoming as a group of people. There was a whole court that had just been through a £26 million refurbishment where the judges stood them down, all sentencing, all everything, because it had got too hot. And I'm like, what's going on here? Like, what is actually going on? Starmer organised a Cobra meeting because it had got hot.
Christ, you won't be doing that for much longer.
But the human body is so resilient, isn't it? We've had like the SAS guys out in Afghanistan and Iraq trekking for days, carrying 200 pound and sweltering heat and data, and they can do it. And now my children aren't allowed to play out at dinner time because it's over like 32 degrees or something like that.
Did they go to school?
What is that about?
Did they go to school?
Yeah, but some schools have stopped having that. I just think
shut all the schools here.
Mate, we're just breathing them to be soft. Go to school, go to the heat, get on with it. It's not the end of the world. You're not going to die. Like, if you are going to die, it must be Darwin. Do you know what I mean? It's got to be a Darwinian thing. Like, if you can't put 33 degrees heat, like, come on.
So, I read something interesting as to why we struggle so much in the UK with the heat, right?
Because we're pussies.
Yeah.
That, but also the fact that, so, you know, most of the temperatures that we have, you know, when they say, oh, it's going to hit a record high of 33, 34, 38 degrees, it's all done on what's called like the dry bulb temperature, which is a bulb in the shade, but a dry bulb. If you have a look at the wet bulb temperatures, that is the temperature as correlated with, you know, when you put a damp rag on it and the temperature as it's dragged down by evaporation. And so most places, tropical places, Afghanistan and the rest of it, because the humidity is quite low, comparatively speaking, the dry bulb temperature is high, but the wet bulb temperature is relatively low because there is enough or not enough moisture in the air and it evaporates off you and you can cool yourself down. But in the UK, the gap between the dry bulb and the wet bulb temperature is only a couple of degrees, which is why it feels so hot. It's because we can't get rid of that heat because our evaporative cooling system, your sweat, isn't able to cope because there's so much humidity in the air anyway that it just doesn't sweat anywhere, which is why when you stand outside, it runs off you in little rivulets and sort of like puddles on the floor underneath you. So that's what the issue is. But yeah, I don't disagree. I've been all over the world. Hotter
Betty
places.
Swallock's chart.
Yeah, basically what I'm saying is it's the Betty Swallock's principle. That's the scientific name for it.
But here's the thing, Al, right? When you're a parent, right, them kids either haven't went to school or haven't been allowed to play out Monday to Friday. How many of those kids went home and on Saturday and Sunday the parents have said, better stop in the house. It's a bit warm for you out there. My kids are like, yes, it's hot, it's sunny. I'm getting my t-shirt and my shorts on and I'm off outside. And they won't come in. They'll play out in the late nights. They'll have a great time. Like I'm just
Better
getting
take your umbrella out, kids.
Am I becoming a miserable, grumpy old man, or should we like man up?
I think he became one a little while back. But yeah, no, it definitely is. There needs to be an element of realism to it, and shutting schools is not the answer. Having people better equipped to deal with what is going to now be. You know, we had this last year, we had it the year before. Undoubtedly, we'll have it next year as well. The world can't come to a crashing, grinding halt. We need to find ways around it. Because apparently this is the new norm now, you know, until global
rains next week.
What it is, I don't even think you should prepare for it. I think you should just get on with it.
Suck it up.
Yeah.
That is a way of preparing, though, isn't it? Mentally.
Sack air conditioning, open the windows, you know, let the kids go out and play, let them undo the ties and let them go wild and let them have
that sounds like one of the a Sam and Dave song, doesn't it? And they let them go out and play in the sunshine. Sorry.
I think he said got heat stroke. I mean, heat stroke completely undermined everything you've just said. He's gone Dulali. Get that man some aircon straight away.
But yeah, I was taking a wasp nest down and you're like in a suit, climbing up ladders, pulling it down. Like, did I think I was going to fall off and die and melt in the heat? No, we got on with it. That's what we did. You know, this has took a dark turn. To be fair, Billy McPherson is a little short, fat guy, so the heat would probably kill him. So he's got to stop indoors.
Yeah, but it's still probably only about 10 degrees in Scotland, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Richard saying that this is like what summer holidays are like. Yeah, I just worry that this behavior it's not like we're going to stop. All of a sudden it'll be like 33 degrees. Well, there was once a kid who blah, blah, blah. So let's make it 30 degrees. if it's any, and then it'll be like, if it's not perfectly 24 degrees in the classroom, that's it. Pens down, everyone's done, go home. Like, oh, well, let's get on with it. Let's just get on with it. It's hot. Who cares? All the people are complaining, go on holiday to Greece and Turkey and Cyprus. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's going on? What's going on?
Stick some olive oil on yourself and slather it on and stand in the sunshine all day.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Well,
No.
yeah.
That's the quickest way to getting basted. Oh,
No, well, yeah, there's nothing wrong with being basted, is there?
Yeah, get it. I do. I just think stuff like this. What the schools should do is maybe get a barbecue, and
really ramp the heat up.
no. Get a big barbecue and take the kids out and let them enjoy stuff like that and teach them about life. Like it just stresses me out. Like I just feel like we're getting soft as clots and there's no one with an ounce of resilience in them. Like no wonder when you go to work, people are like, it's too hot. I need a special chair. I need a chair to sit on now, like a fucking $3,000 chair to sit on. What's going on?
It's funny actually because my wife used to work in the greenhouses.
Oh yeah.
Taking cuttings, and it was about 110 degrees, and it was absolute. It wouldn't shut down in the sunshine.
Fahrenheit.
Oh, I can't remember, but it was like a day like today, and it's like you're still under greenhouses, and the bosses used to come around and say, you're not taking water in there. You can't take water in. While you're drinking water, you're wasting time. You could be taking more cuttings.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's the line of that. That's not manning up. That genuinely is bad business practice.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. Yeah, they were proper idiots.
I was about to say,
maybe 110 was a bit too much because that'd be frying an egg, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 110 is like, what was that? It's about 41 degrees Celsius or something around that level.
Yeah, pretty warm in there. Pretty warm in the greenhouse today.
But warmer than your body temperature. So at that point, you're not cooling down at all. Hey, Jazz, how you doing? Right, so before we start, question to you and guys. Not an either or. This is just a straight question. What is the most valuable piece of kit that you own? The best thing that you ever bought?
What, for pest control or for
pest control? For pest control, yeah. Best bit of kit you ever
drain camera for us. The drain camera opened up so much for us.
Swiss Army knife.
Swiss Army knife.
Go on, we'll start with you first then. Swiss Army knife, as in?
Yep. Magnifying glass for looking at your insects. A
knife for cutting a fool.
A reamer
Yeah.
for making holes in the bottom of your bait boxes so the water drains out. Or if you're really stuck, you can drill a hole in the side of your bait box for your piece of wire.
Mm-hmm. As opposed to repairing your leather sails on a ship, but yeah.
Rent-a-kill bait box key.
Ship, you dickhead. I like that.
Screwdriver.
Thermal camera.
Screwdriver for fly killers.
Thermal camera.
Bait bag opener.
Do you know I'll tell you the one thing that we've bought and has really, really come into their own in the last few months is decent air rifles with decent scopes and decent thermal spotters. We've had one big job has turned into 5 or 6 good solid jobs with good solid customers, and it's becoming like a valuable way to get into big companies, because you don't realize, if your big nationals are sending lads out with a single Springer with a 30 quid optic on it because they don't want to replace them, and you can get that job done better than them, then it's really, really, we've dropped a gear and kicked on with that stuff. So that's going. Yeah, the air rifles. HW110s, if anyone wanted HW110 Alpex, micro Alpex scopes.
But the thing is, what you've got to think about those things in when you say what's the best bit of kit, it might be the nicest bit of kit, but I wonder at the same hand, when it's the best piece of kit, which piece of kit made the most money?
Yeah, well, these are now the drain cameras made us the most money. So, Billy, just for anyone, Billy's wrote decent infrared torch to go with a night vision 2, Sean Mooney. He's been a prick because we don't run an infrared torch with our scopes as a general rule. Most of your day and night vision will pick up like latent stuff, and Billy can't get his head around the fact that we are absolutely running our scopes without it. We have IRs for them, and to be honest with you, they just make the guns heavy, and I've never really found time when we couldn't get the job done without them. So Billy's having a bit of a go because he used to teach air rifles to people, didn't he? Because he was one of them sardos, you know. Like,
you know what they say,
like,
don't you?
Yeah.
If you can't perform, teach.
Yeah. Get your gun out. It's very dangerous. Hold it. Like proper weirdo, proper noncy. It's noncy stuff, that, isn't it? Like teaching people to shoot an air rifle when they can literally just go and buy one. But there you go.
And there's nothing worse than a failed teacher as well as
Oh, mate, he had to get it in the pest control because he failed being a noncy air rifle teacher. That's what he did.
Just if this is anyone tuning in for their first time to Beauties and Beasties, Sean does like this is like an intense indictment on teachers and or the pest control industry in general. No, this is just Sean and Billy, and in about 15 minutes we'll have Stuart come on as well, and then it will be a trifecta of dumbasses. So there we go. Billy, you seem upset. Lovely stuff. I don't know. My one, weirdly enough, I think I've said this before. USB keyboard cleaner. Have you seen these? So basically, it's a little air compressor that you charge up with a USB, right? It gets fully charged, and you press a button, and it blows a very hard, fast stream of air.
It's your blowjob.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going. Or alternatively, it
does it suck or blow?
It blows.
Turn it round.
That's why I've been getting it wrong. No, but it's really good. So when you've got a grotty bait box, you can just basically open it up, blow all the cobwebs, blow all the leaves out of it, give it a bit of a clean. But number two, perfect for burrow baiting because you get your long-handled spoon, you chuck your grain down there, but also you blow it in, and it blows it all the way back to the back of the burrow. So it has no risk of it coming out whatsoever, and it goes right down to the inside. No water's going to touch it, and the rest of it, really great. So there we go. I mean, Neil, yes, to defend the teaching of air guns, Neil says, if you don't take shooting lessons, you may as well think that a pellet will hit where the crossheads indicate each time. Range makes a massive point. And yeah, there is some nuance, isn't there, to shooting rifles that you might claim is intuitive and you will learn through trial and error. But if you want, guys, there's a course for everything out there. That's what I'll see.
Yeah, and Billy can come and teach you.
And Billy can come teach you
air rifle stuff, can't you? Billy can be like.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Between Billy and Stuart, you probably couldn't ask for two people to give you better pointers as to how to use air weapons.
Yeah, but listen, that's absolutely true. But it's not funny. It's funnier if I tell everyone he's like a the air rifle teacher in it.
I'm not arguing that at all. Perfect stuff. Right. So with that, shall we get crack-a-lacking and shall we start the big news roundup?
Okay.
With that, we start with association news. I think I've made you go first, like first time 4 times in a row. So shall I go first this time?
We should get a little coin, shouldn't we, with MPTA on one side and BPCA on the other, and we could have.
Sean, have you got something on your desk? Just something small that you can hold in your hand, like a coin or something.
Tell you what, I'm going to write on the back of this a number, and it's 1 or 2. So the person who gets it right gets to go.
I say 2. I mean, I'm waiting for
what?
1. Oh.
Hey.
What have I won? Nothing.
You can go first for the 4th month in a row.
Oh, cheers! Yeah, absolutely fine. So MPTA roundup. We've got a really good bit of information this month. If you're an accredited member, you now get the CQS accreditation scheme as part of your membership. And everybody out there is probably thinking, who the chuff of the CQMS? But it's SSIP accreditation. So safety schemes in procurement accreditation. If you're going for any of those tenders, then you can be CQMS accredited. It's a little bit like Safe Contractor or CHAS.
So
I think it's a good. I think it's a good smart move for us. If you're not an accredited member, you can still join at a discounted rate. So accredited members get it free of charge, and ordinary members get it at a discredited rate.
Question for you too, seeing as I'm neutral on this. I know BPCA offer this and have done for a while as part of their thing. What difference does it make? I know it's great getting it and stuff, but truthfully, and here's my complaint with all of this shit. We've done CHAS and we've done all that, and the things that they make you send in and sign and prove that you've got, the people who want you to have CHAS turn around to you and say, can you just send us all this stuff? And you're like, you've literally asked for CHAS, which is all of this stuff done once, and you want us to do it again. Like, what is the point of it?
So I would say, and then I'll hand over to Hugh, the number one question you always get asked, I always see, well, one question and one follow-up. Why ever join a trade association? And the follow-up is, not going to trade association. It is too damn expensive. And the reality is if you have a look at things like this, like CQMS, you think how much that costs you to get your CHAS or how much that costs you to actually get that little bit of paper. Actually, sometimes it's as much as, if not more than, the membership to that trade association. So number one, you're getting something that if you were going to have to do anyway to get a tender, you get it, theoretically at that point getting your trade membership for free. But number two, if you're a member of a trade association and you are struggling with filling out all of those forms and getting all of that shit done and getting your head above the water because you don't understand the 300 things it's going for, you're now part of a trade association that can help walk you through the bloody stuff. And so you've got that avenue there as well. So when you say, as for what's the point of it in real life and the rest of it, I'll hand over to Hugh to answer that one. But I think these are great things to have as part of your trade association because it's the support in filling all that stuff out. And reality of it is actually it offsets the cost of your association membership, be that accredited, unaccredited, whatever you like, significantly. You're almost making money at that point, he says. Hugh?
Sean?
I don't know.
Okay.
Go on. What, in practical terms, have you ever had any benefit out of this sort of stuff?
Unfortunately, whichever way that you look at it, one of our customers has just asked us to be Safe Contractor.
How many? How many customers?
One for Safe Contractor at the moment. But the thing is, you're getting your ducks in a row. There is a lot of ducks with Safe Contractor. There's absolutely no doubt about it. That it's just relentless. Well, I think it is. Luckily, I'm not doing it. My son Ryan is. and honestly, if it was me on my own, I probably couldn't be bothered because there is so much to do.
Yeah.
Is it beneficial? It's beneficial if it's free.
Yeah.
As part of your membership, why not? Because as part of your accredited membership of the MPTA, you will have those ducks in a row anyway. So it's not like you're going to be doing anything additionally. Same with BPCA, because you guys offer CQMS, don't you? You're going to have those things in place already. So the actual changeover isn't going to be too bad. So it's another badge that you're ready for when a procurement company or procurement NHS, anybody like that says, are you SSIP? You can say, yeah, actually, we already are. Or stick it on your website and they can actually see that it's already there. Time will tell whether it's necessary for us to have done it 35 years in and only one customer's ever asked for it. But they might be looking at our website and thinking, well, they haven't got it, so there's no point in ringing them. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Depends. So you will at the end of the day, doesn't it? I mean, if you're mostly doing domestic work, probably not going to ask you for that. But if you're going to do a lot of work around infrastructure and critical infrastructure, then almost certainly I think they're going to ask you for some kind of safe systems of work badge, aren't they? So, yeah.
We'll wait and see. More news for them from the MPTA. We're well into organising Pest 26. There is a significant more amount of people booking this year to exhibit. So if you are considering exhibiting, get your forms back quite quickly if possible, please. There's quite a lot. Got to keep saying stop saying I've been told. There's loads happening at this year's event. Introduced a brand new rage room. So what that will mean, Sean will be in there all day smashing things up.
Rage room.
A rage room where you get to smash cutlery and mugs and all sorts of bits and pieces, and then they all go off.
Controllers who you don't like.
That's a battle royale room.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, we might have one of those. We might have in a few weeks' time. We might have a rage room, mightn't we? Here. So you get to let off steam there. There's free coffee throughout the day from the Pest Tech Cafe. The cocktail making session with Killgerm is back. There is a workshop and presentation area called the Wasp, whatever that is. Sean Mueller will be there with Pest Perspectives. There's plenty more planned, and we'll have some very exciting news coming up for Pest Tech 2027, which seems like an absolute lifetime away, doesn't it? Finally, the latest round of the 5 for under 25 scheme is almost complete, and we'll be announcing this year's successful candidates very soon. And that is the roundup from the MPTA.
There we go. We should have a button to do that now. I don't have to make the silly noises anymore. Okay, peace.
Just before we go, I'm going to ask you guys some questions on this. Why should anybody go to Pest Tech?
Are you first? Me first?
Either.
Hugh, go on. Why should anybody go?
You get to meet other pest controllers and network. There's quite a few different stands there to look at, new innovations that are coming forward. I know everybody says, well, it was exactly the same as last year, but then you get to see those people that you didn't see, that you saw last year. It's an event, isn't it? We don't get very many events, and it is something, a way of everybody getting together, I think, really. You may not be going there to see the latest invention, but free pens, good idea. Free pens, and I believe we've got some special little giveaways this year as well. They're a little bit out of the ordinary and quite nice. So that's one of the reasons why to go. Why do you think, Alex? Same with Pest.
Yeah, but same with all. Number one, and I'd say this in all seriousness, in an industry that's all doom and gloom and, bopping things on the head and all of this, pushing back against a continual flow of misery, would seem. It's fun. It genuinely is a fun day out. And it depends on who you are and who, where you sit within the industry. But with that, I mean, number one, it is a fun day out. Number two, if you've got people in your team who are relatively new into the industry, it's a fantastic opportunity just to show them the inner gubbings of how it works and everything else. If you are a manager and you manage a small team, it's a really good place to network. You can speak to other people, you see people you don't see, you can speak to manufacturers. And finally, anyone there, it's your opportunity to go to all of the companies that you wouldn't usually get FaceTime with. I mean, like, how on earth would you go and speak to BSF or Syngenta or Pelgar or any of these other manufacturers who make your products, who are designing your products, who are bringing new products to market? You will never have another opportunity to turn around and say, hey, I used your product the other day and I either loved it or hated it, or would you, consider this? Is this in the works? You never have that opportunity to collar people. And for those who say it's the same every year and you don't see anything new, I would argue that's because you don't talk to people. Because a lot of the time, people don't have the brand new thing with neon signs being like, new shit right here. They should do, but they don't. And if you actually go and speak to a lot of the distributors or manufacturers and say, hey, what's coming up around the corner, what's new, or et cetera, 9 times out of 10, they'll pull something out from behind their pocket and be like, have you seen this? And you'd be like, no, I've never seen this before. It may have been no interest to you whatsoever, but every year there's something new there. There's something different. You just got to ask. And if you walk around in a circle and be like, it's shit, it's the same as last year, then yeah, it's probably because you've done the same thing you did last year and you got shit all out of it.
Plus, you could get sloshed at the Loddy Wild West show.
And you can then get sloshed at the Loddy Wild West show as well, yes. There we go. Does that help?
Just before we move on then, just quickly on that, the one criticism I would have of the people who attend is the large companies, because their technicians, as you say, the young ones, the new ones, often don't get to go. You do get to see the new faces, and I think it would be great. Although I've heard some horror stories about, I can't remember who it was now, making all their technicians meet in the car park beforehand and being told they weren't allowed to speak to anybody. They were just there to walk around and look. Yeah, don't ever speak to anybody in case you say something that that we don't agree with. So you can go there and you can walk around, and but if anyone talks to you, you totally ignore them. And they had to come and like report back and stuff. I can't remember who. It's going to burn us. Anyways, yeah. So I would love to see more of the people who aren't engaged with our industry there. Mm-hmm. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah. And you want to say it's a lot. It's a bit of a way away, but actually Milton Keynes is super easy to get to for Pest X. Yeah. London's super easy to get to. I mean,
sometimes you can go to London instead of Milton Keynes, can't you?
Don't say it like I was the one that screwed up. That was a brilliant story. What was it? You ended up cuddling in the back of a car for an evening, didn't you?
Oh yeah. When I slept in the car on the base of the XL. Billy says it was him who told me. Still can't remember who it was. Who he said now, but anyways, by the by, I'm not saying anyways because I don't know it to be true, but I just know that I've heard that rumor. So yeah.
BPCA News.
BPCA News. Okay, so actually what I'm doing today is I forgot to ask Scott in advance, but one thing that we did do as the BPC Outreach and Communications Committee is anyone who's a member of the BPCA actually gets added to a little WhatsApp channel, or can opt into a little WhatsApp channel, and there is a little weekly update that goes out from that. So I'm just going to give you the little weekly update that we got through our channel rather helpfully this morning as well. So actually, the biggest thing that has come out of the BPCA recently, has anyone seen it? Have you guys seen this? It's the No Small Matters report that came out. So BPCA have been working on for quite some time a very lengthy industry report that has finally come out and been released. Anyone can read it. It's called No Small Matters. And basically, it's looking very heavily into the social and the economic impacts that pest management has in the UK. And it comes up with some figures, some stunning figures, like the amount of money put into the UK from pest management. So that's not just sort of like what we are doing, but it comes up with figures based on how much money it would be lost if pest management was to stop or to become less effective, how much money would be lost for government in terms of loss in not just revenue, but taxable revenue from that as well. It goes on and on and on. It really paints a very interesting picture that is going to be really useful to us in industry when it comes to speaking to legislators, to speaking to government, to speaking to regulatory bodies, all of whom just say, and this is something I have heard in my role over the last 2 weeks, which is we wouldn't need to do pest. And this wasn't a pest manager or a member of the public. This was actually a sort of like an official person turned around and said, well, I don't believe in pest control because if farmers did their job right, there wouldn't be any pests on farms anyway. So yeah, absolutely with that. Absolutely sort of like mind-boggling statement to have been made. But it is still the opinion that many people have out in the big wide world that pest management does not need traps and chemicals and any of these other tools. If people just comported themselves correctly, we wouldn't have a problem with pests. And so let's focus on that. And ostensibly, they're right. If we didn't have a problem with, waste, if we didn't have a problem with this, maybe you wouldn't have a problem with pests. But the stark reality of the truth is we do, and we need them. And so this report will very much help solidify the social economic impacts of pests on our society and on commerce. So it's going to be really useful. And if you want to give it a read, strongly recommend that you do. So the report itself has attracted support from government departments, MPs, and industry organisations, helping to put professional pest management firmly onto their agendas. Also seen fantastic media coverage and heard from members who have already started to use the report to explain the value of their work to customers and policymakers. So alongside that report, Rosina has barely stood still, representing the BPCA at the CEPA General Assembly. So for those who don't know, CEPA is the grand trade body for Europe. So all of the trade associations of all the various companies in Europe are members of CEPA. So it's the Trade Association for Pest Control Trade Associations in Europe. So she has stood at the General Assembly in Paris, at the Aviva Summit, and at the London Climate Action Week, where she just joined discussions about investing in nature alongside MPs and DEFRA ministers. In other news, Nat's hit the ground running, getting stuck into member support. So for those who don't know, Bethany Bungay has returned back to the BPCA. She is now actually the level above, so she is the head of the technical department there now. But she's hit the ground running, and there are some changes and shake-ups afoot there. The calls framework is coming along with the new level 2 and new level 3 and focusing on safety and legislation. BPCA is preparing to give evidence for the Northern Islands Committee for Agriculture, Environment and Rural Affairs around the hunting with dogs bill. And members of the BPCA attended a Softy summer lecture and annual general meeting. The PPC 123 has gone to the prints, so that'll be hitting doorsteps soon. And Niall joined myself and Lawrence at the BSF and Killgerm on the farm day yesterday, where he spoke about covered and protected baiting. So there we go. That's just a little upshot of what we've done over the last month. There you go.
How will Natalie returning affect things? Because they always say, don't they? Don't go back to where you were, because it's never the same. How will it affect things? How will it change the teams, or will it not, or what have you? What do you foresee the difference being?
I hope that the time away in a different role, looking at the industry through a different lens, having a bit of an opportunity to look at the industry through a much more commercially orientated viewpoint, will bring a different thought to the BPCA staff team that maybe has been lacking before. You know, she's gone out there, she has actually garnered some real world experiences based on the actual challenges, and so that's only ever going to be a good thing as far as bringing new ideas and fresh perspectives to an industry. So I think it's going to be a good thing. I would hope.
Mint.
Yeah.
Mint.
Okay, we've got some products to talk about.
Oh yes, can I do the
product
first
button?
Oh, hang on. Is this the bit where we talk about people who have moved, or was that just
that's in a minute. We've got the products left, and I haven't done this before, so we'll have to see if this works.
So the first one is oh, not that one. No, you can do that one. I wanted to do the little one.
Oh, okay. This one's the first one, is the Birch Amaya electric DR5 pump, which is probably available from a number of people, but Killgerm were kind enough to send the information through. So it is available from Killgerm for 200 quid.
Is this for people who don't like the heat, though? Because I can't ever remember being physically struggling with a DR5 duster. That's like 4 pumps and it's away in it.
You can get tennis elbow from using the DR5 too much, actually.
Oh, fuck off with this shit.
No, you can. Seriously.
I'm not bothered, like, mate.
You would if you got it.
I don't want to hear it.
Well, you can always use a tyre pump, can't you?
DR5 duster.
You do enough wasp nests in this. You haven't done enough wasp nests in this season. That's
mate, I used to be a farrier. I literally used to swing a 2.25 pound hammer all day.
I know carpenter.
And now it's like, oh, I might like give over. Give over.
All right. Okay.
I think an electronic compressor for a DR5 is a little bit extreme, especially seeing, as you say, you've got the foot pump attachment, which if you've got a nice double-barreled foot pump, you can get that up.
You can use a car inflator.
Or a car inflator, any of those things. You know, I think you can get it up there fairly quick. But the one that I actually I really like the look of. What are you giggling at me for?
I've just read Neil's comment, and I feel that pain Neil's wrote. The only time I've wanted that is at the top of a ladder when the DR5 is leaking faster than I can pump it. You end up like trying to screw the top, hold the top down, and pump and push at the same time, don't you? Like contorting. Yeah.
So this is the one that I like. So we've all seen, the spate of these sort of like screwing for the tops of compression sprayers and the rest of it. So you've got one for your duster, you've got some for your sort of like classic compression sprayers. This one is a little electric sprayer for the mini pumps. So with this, there's a little button on the side, so you just charge it up by a standard USB cable, and you press a button on the side. You don't have to hand pump it at all; it just goes and sprays. But the great thing is it, and you're laughing there, Sean, being like, the thing is it's a constant spray output. So with a lot of these little ones, you pump it up and you pump it up, and the first time you use it, it's woof, absolutely everywhere because there's no pressure gauge on it, and then it will sort of like dip off and do nothing. This one's just constant all the way through. So you press the button, and you get as much coming out at the beginning as you do at the end, until of course you ostensibly run out of liquid, and it will work left, right, up, down, whatever you like you do. So I think it's really cool.
And it's 43 quid.
Yeah,
I think that's
it's
pretty.
Break the bank, is it?
I think that's pretty good. Go on, Sean. Knock it.
Listen, the more moving parts you have, the faster something feels. Like the more you're going to make them. That just takes something to get dropped or knocked or whatever it is, and you go to spray something, it doesn't work. Tried and tested. Like for the sake of pumping something a half a dozen times, I am not buying into these. I went on a bedbug job not long ago, and the guys and girls there had the electronic sprayers, and to be fair, they loved them. They said it was great because you just switched them on and walked around, and it kept it, everything you're saying. However, they cost a bit of money. They seemed to take ages to power up, and they came with no instructions of how to charge or uncharge, and it was a bit. And I was just like, I'm more than happy to just manually pump something. I don't think it's that difficult. I really don't. Stay
up with the times.
I
Next, we have, before Sean poo-bars it too much.
Yeah.
Another product that they've got, which is Sani 99 general disinfection product. Not going to talk about it too much because I've got no idea what it is.
I know a little bit about this.
Okay.
It was a product that they were looking at because of black mold in direct retaliance for the Awab's law thing. And this is a lot safer to use. My understanding of it is if you're going to use any of the other disinfectants, people have got to be outside, etc., etc. Don't quote me on this, and make sure you go and speak to the people who are selling it. But my understanding of it is you can spray it with people in the room. It kills black mold. It doesn't just treat the surface. It gets down to the bottom and blah, blah, blah. When you listen to it, it's the best cleaning product in the world. That's like, you could spray it in a crack house and it'd look like the Buckingham Palace. However, I'm always very conscious that sometimes things don't quite turn out to be everything they are. So I would strongly suggest that you, at the very least, give it a go before you say yay or nay for yourselves, from what I've been told. But my understanding is it's a good product that they've put a lot of time and effort into to researching. And as AWAB's law changes and we are expected to report on all sorts and do all sorts of things, it may be for those who do the cleaning route and are going down the cleaning route that this could definitely be another source of income into your business.
But that's the same for all the products that we have on the podcast, isn't it? We're not endorsing any of them. We're just bringing them to everybody's attention. We don't specifically know about all of the products. We're just bringing them to your attention. Speak to your supplier, whoever they may be, and they will talk it through with you.
To be fair, when I heard about it, I thought I'll probably not use it at work, but if it works on mold in your shower, the horrible little bits in the corner you can't get into and that, and just it's them bits that make your shower look grubby, don't it? I was thinking if I can spray it on that, it clears it up. And if we can get rid of the Sillet Bang and we can move to the Sani 99, who knows? I'll buy some for our lass for Christmas, see what she thinks of it.
Just got another quick product which I know nothing about that's available from Killgerm. Is the Scarecrow bird system. Don't know anything about it, but it's a new system that's available from Killgerm. That's Killgerm.
Hang on. Sorry, can we see the words that they, how difficult? Like, so to make the word bird, they use the words bird instinctive reactive dispersal. Oh, that's a stretch, isn't it? But at least you got the word bird out of it.
Bird. How you doing, bird? A couple of other products to mention. I haven't got any information on them, but Lottie have now an Organ X Pro insect killer, which I believe is much the same as Prevector Stylee. Don't know. Speak to Lottie about that. And they've also now have a digrain one-shot to go with their Phobidose one-shot, which is tetramethane and permethrin one-shot. That's all of the products that we've got, unless you guys have got anything.
Yeah, wasn't there a grain store? Is that the diagram one that you're talking about?
I think that's Actalex coming back, isn't it? But I couldn't find it this again.
Did I not send it to you?
You did, but I couldn't remember how you sent it to me. I think it was Actalic, wasn't it? But it under.
Can't remember.
No.
Yeah.
Only one I've got is everyone just needs to keep an eye on Horizon. There is going to be something launched from Wade Environmental at Pestex this year.
Okay, another product. Industry news. The rodent glue trap ban in Scotland is coming in as of the 1st of July. And that will be slightly different than the UK ban in that it will actually be illegal to have them in your possession.
Everyone from pest managers to Joe Public, it will be illegal to own them, and I think you were saying as well illegal to transport them. So
transport them from the UK, from England into Scotland. So DPD would be prosecuted if they had them and were carrying them. So I've been told. And also the penalties are quite. A person who commits any of the offences or knowingly causes or permits another person to use, supply or offer a glue trap will be liable to summary conviction to imprisonment for the term of not exceeding 12 months or a fine up to 40 grand. So that's a fair old whack.
Yeah. It was Actalic smoke generator.
Yeah.
Actalic.
Actalic. Does the ban on glue traps also cover insect monitors? No, it doesn't. The offences do not apply to invertebrates.
it very clearly says any glue board with the design to trap vertebrates on it. So yes, it's not even like you can buy a rodent glue board being sold as an insect glue board, because it's ultimately, designed to capture
this big and not this big.
This big, exactly that. The other thing as well is just those of you who work on the borders, keep in mind that because there is still a licensing as of right now, things may change. But because there is a licensing system within the UK, and therefore it is not illegal to carry and transport glue boards in your van, as soon as you do cross that border, you will be into the land of illegality. So, yes, so don't just leave them in the back of your van. Take them just to the jobs that you need, and then no further.
Then hide them under the front seat.
Or just leave them in your store. Either or. Hide them, squirrel them away like contraband.
That's correct, Rupert.
Yeah.
Total ban. Buy, sell, use, anything.
Yeah.
Okay, next. Oh, this one's going to be another big one.
Is it buyouts and mergers?
No, it's Pest Awards.
Pest Awards. Well, should we do buyouts and mergers first, and then come on to the Pest Awards and bits and bobs? Because I'm sure we're going to talk about that for ages. Yeah. We may not have much to talk about with buyouts and mergers, because I don't know of any really. I haven't heard
Sean
as much.
sent this one earlier, so I shall have to read it out, I'm afraid. Midland Pest Control has been sold to the Nurture Group, a well-established Birmingham company. Midland Pest Control has been sold to Nurture Group, the business behind Roadkill. This is actually a little bit more important than people think, because according to industry analysts, the deal was completed at around 7.5 to 8.8 times the EBITDA, putting the value of the business somewhere between 4.5 and 6 million. And that's quite a strong multiple in the actual buying out of it. So it shows that they're still buying companies, and that's, you imagine 7-8 times your profit. That's a fair old whack, isn't it?
You either got to have some very lucrative contracts off the back of that, or you've got to be intertwined with some critical infrastructure at that point. But it is interesting, considering that, you know, Nurture dropped a whole load of its technical staff and the rest of it. I thought that they were consolidating, not growing.
Yeah, but it says here, buyers are clearly willing to pay these sorts of prices when company offer good routes, density, and efficient technician routes, rather than just the actual profit that's being made. So they must be able to see something in the actual company itself.
Yeah. So that's it. It's not just how much you turn over, it's how you turn it over and what you're doing with that. So keep that in mind. Just out of interest in the chats, you know, just people just put, has anyone had any more sort of like approaches recently? Has it started to quieten down on that front? Because there was a spate where if you didn't have someone phoning you up asking to buy your business, then you were very much in a minority. But I haven't had any phone calls recently. Have you guys had any phone calls recently?
We've had one.
Yeah, we get the odd one now and again, but I think you do anyway, don't you? Really, just letting you know that they're still on the lookout, rather than anything serious. It's just oh, by the way, we're here if you want to sell, sort of style.
So these groups are still on the rampage. Then it's just quietened down a little bit. I reckon that we've probably got another quiet 8 months or so to the end of the year, maybe, whilst they consolidate all of those groups in, and then maybe we'll see next year.
So there was Midlands Pest Control that was bought out, wasn't it? I am informed, and I may be wrong on this, so again, don't quote us. I think IX5 has bought Midlands Environmental. I don't know what size they are and all that, but I think that's the first purchase for IX5. Guy's a clever guy, Matt McDonald, very clever guy. Obviously looking to start to expand and do all that sort of stuff. Rather have two arseholes than do that myself. But there you go. At the minute, it might change.
You've got two, haven't you?
That's funny, that actually. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Shouldn't talk about Matthew and Max like that, but yeah, sometimes I feel like saying it. Yeah.
Hugh, you terrible person. Is this a good time to talk about the Rentokil Terminix merger in the States?
Yeah.
So that's been having some headways, but I think we've got a little bit of an update from our US correspondent, Andy.
Andy, we have back in 2020. You were going to read it out?
No, I don't have it here. No, you got it there.
Back in 2022, Rentokil bought Terminix, creating the biggest pest control company in the world. Since then, he says that something strange has happened with the industry numbers. For years, the two measurements moved together nicely. One was the MPMA, which is the American Association estimate of the total size of the UK and US pest control industry.
Hang on.
Hang on. I've got it wrong here. Sorry, I was just clicking through.
Yeah.
Right. Can I?
You can
start
continue
again?
So, yeah, sorry. Just Sean going through his email inbox.
Yeah.
The top 100 always made up less than the full industry, which makes sense because there are thousands of smaller companies out there. But since the Rentokil Terminix merger, that's changed. In 2023, 2024, and 2026, the combined revenue of the top 100 companies was bigger than the MPMA's estimate of the entire industry. And that's obviously impossible. So what's going on? Asks Andy. The most likely explanation is that the big companies are now making a lot of money from other services, things like wildlife control, lawn care, insulation and sanitation, which aren't included in the traditional pest management figures. At the same time, the industry has become so consolidated that the old ways of measuring it no longer work properly. In short, the numbers don't add up anymore. It might be time to start rethinking how we actually measure the size of the modern pest control industry. Did that make any sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah, basically, Rent-A-Kill's bought Terminix and they have smashed the figures that people thought was absolutely impossible. However, I don't think that Andy's assumption of other services being the reason for that. I think that they've been underestimating the size of the market. And I think that's exactly why Rent-A-Kill wanted to buy Terminix, because they understand the size of the market perfectly. And they are never, ever, ever going to come out and say to you, guess what, guys, you've got this wrong. Because then everyone goes, what? There's more money involved. They've kept it themselves. They've bought it. They've done the biz. And, you know, can you remember? I'm trying to think which guest it was. We had an American guest on. And I said, why don't you do commercial work the way we do it? And I said, oh, there's not enough money in it. We'd rather do routes and houses and da, da, da. And he said, we'd just leave that to Rent-A-Kill and them big boys, because they're, you know, they think they can make money at it. Well, there you go. There you go. And it's like done in a one-hour, like they've just done you. But
the other way to think of it as well is if you've got Rent-A-Kill Terminix, who now are the majority, let's say the majority shareholders of the pest management market in the States, they have 50%, let's say they're 50% of the commercial contracts go to Rent-A-Kill Terminix, and they are charging £10 per unit. Okay, the industry is then fixed at £10. But if they then increase their prices by 50%, they get up to £15. Okay, probably they're now more in line with the mom and pops out there. But suddenly the value of the entire market rockets through the roof, because although they've just done a little increase, because they own so much of that market, actually it's inflated the entire value of the market off the back of it. So chances are that's what done. They have such a big market share that they only need to increase their prices by inflation or by a very small margin, and it's going to inflate the entire industry significantly. Because
do you know though, I see the similarities with the UK. It feels like the UK was the tiny little model that they've used for the rest of the world, because they can do it. And you know, there's a message here. Teresa S has wrote, Rent-A-Kill is making more space for everyone else in the industry because they have grown too big for their britches and forgotten out the people who helped them get to where they are. And we see this negativity towards them massively, don't we? And it's like, listen, folks, they've put prices up. They've showed you the market's bigger than it is. And we're still like, nah. I can remember Colin Smith saying, oh, they forgot who they were and it's all going downhill for them. When you look at the graph, they are literally making more money than they were told was physically possible. And we're still like, shit, aren't they? And I'm like, they're not. Like, let's not be negative about what they're doing. Let's look at what they're doing and try and jump on their coattails. And if we bring our prices up, they'll take their prices up and we'll start to get the recognition that we need. Like, I look at it and it kind of gets me excited, but you must see the similarities with the British market. It just feels like what they're doing there now is what they did in this country in the 80s, like the way they bought stuff, they are so clever. And let's make no bones about it. The people sitting in their office who bought Terminix for however many millions, hundreds of millions, whatever it was, they knew this. You know, these graphs were plotted long before. They didn't buy it and then get a nice, pleasant surprise that these figures were going up. They had this plotted long before they put their money on the line. And I just stand there and think, just need to watch them. And if nothing else, like, I know it's annoying, but we almost need to say thank you to them, don't we? Like, look at that. It's like the value of the market is going up. The money available to pest controllers is going up. Like, whatever you want to say to them, they're not too big for the britches because they're making more than was physically possible. Allegedly, like they're just showing how it's done. Look at that, 107% more, 108% more, and it's just going to keep going up. You know, it's going to keep going up. But there we go.
I heard a rumor years ago. So, you know, when we had the original, 2022 Rentokil like buyout merger with that, I heard through the grapevine that what happened was originally Rentokil went to go and buy Terminex, and the Terminex board of directors said, over our dead body, ain't going to happen, not going to do it. Go, go forth and multiply in a field somewhere. And it never happened. So Rentokil turned around and it did what was, it did a majority share ownership of the shares. It went and bought as many shares as it could. And then it sort of like found a couple of the stakeholders who were invested, who did want out. But, they were a minority of the stakeholders, so lost at board level, and simply bought their shares off them. And they managed to acquire enough shares to actually then have majority ownership of the shareholdings. And when they did that, they fired the board and elected a board that was more amenable to selling to them. So they just...
That's right.
Yeah, it was quite a sort of like intense way of purchasing, two of the biggest pest control companies on earth coming together. It was all done fairly sort of like, trying to think of the way, not underhand's the wrong word, but it was pretty intense. And of course, it all fell down, didn't it?
Have you ever watched the story of Steve Jobs and how he got back into Apple? It's one of the best stories I've ever seen.
I imagine it's going to be similar to this. Go on, hit me with
it. So basically, a long story short, Apple was growing. He employed someone to be like in the upper echelons. They had a falling out and the board sided with the other guy and they kicked Steve Jobs out. And he'll say, like, I was very publicly out. But Steve Jobs was that clever. He knew where Apple were going to struggle. So he went away and he set up a company for school computers that he knew would never succeed. But he also knew that this technology would be what Apple needed to buy. So he had his shares. And then in the end, they had to come back and buy the company next. And when they bought the company next, he basically took control because he was in. So then he went back in, grabbed it, took the whole lot again, took control, kicked everyone out and went again. If you haven't watched the Steve Jobs story, it's absolutely phenomenal. Like phenomenal. It's a really, really good one. Have you seen that, Hugh?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. What a clever dude he was, yeah.
I think the one that I enjoyed was the start of McDonald's. Can't remember what that film. The founder. That was, I enjoyed that one. That was good.
Yeah, very, very good. Yeah. Anyways, let's get back to pest control. Yeah.
That's that bit. What do we have next? We have a little bit of people moving, if you would like.
Yes, that's definitely an in other news part, isn't it?
Yeah. So Tim Bloomer is retiring from Kilgerm, and I think everybody probably watching will have heard of Tim at some stage.
We've even had him on the podcast.
Yeah, we have, and he is retiring to do more family stuff. So he will be leaving Kilgerm within the next few months. I think he's got a few months left, and he will be off from there. So we will see who takes his position.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got two sales positions up at the minute, one in the south and one in London. For anybody looking for those sort of salesy type places. I think by all accounts they're good jobs and are worth looking at if you've got that technical knowledge and can sell, I think is the two prerequisites, as my understanding.
Area sales managers is the two roles that are going up. And it's very rare that actually there's an opportunity, let alone two, to get into the M&D community. So if anyone is interested in a change of pace, you are much more technically minded, or you're getting to a point where your knees ache every time you stand up, sit down, get out of the van, but you still want to give something back to the industry, it definitely is a role for you. Or if you're young and you want to get into it, there's, we need more technical people in our industry. So there's a really good opportunity to get in.
I've got to say that Tim's always been our rep, for want of a better word, for Killgerm. He's quite often comes and sees us. In fact, I think Matt came to see me. So I do see Tim reasonably regularly. He's never actually sold me anything.
I was going to say, does Tim come and see you when he wants to gossip, though? Because he likes to know what's going on, doesn't he? He likes to feel like he's in the centre of shit, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's never sold me anything. But I do know that if I need something, I can ask him and he will actually tell me what I need rather than what I want, what he can sell me.
Right. I've got one here, and I think this will be a first. Look, 38 minutes ago, Gemma Sutherland announced that she is now the operations manager at Pest Solutions.
Okay.
Well done, Gemma.
Yeah.
I don't know her personally. I know of her. Never met her. She comes with a large reputation as being someone who's very accurate and good at what she does. So congratulations. That's what we want to see, isn't it? The right people getting to the right places. So well done, that young lady.
Yeah. And in other news, we've got... every year we talk about it, don't we?
What?
Pest Awards. Got to talk about it.
I know. I really like Simon. I only know Simon King. I don't know the other Simon. I really like Simon. I think he's a good bloke. But it feels like there's something going on that it's like it just seems to be going back over and turning into your 3 best curry house awards that you buy. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's getting more and more criticism every year, isn't it? Whether that's fair or not, I don't know. I've never been to them, so I couldn't tell you. All I know is from someone on the outside looking in, it would appear that the people who win it because they know the process rather than are necessarily the best person for an award, if that makes sense, or the best business or what have you. You know, it's...
Shall I run through the nominees or should we not bother?
Yeah, no, let's go through the nominees because
the nominees.
It's happening and it's a thing. Yeah.
Young Pest Controller of the Year, Beth Pemberton Hill, Clean Kill, Max Hunter, Pest Solutions, Shane North, Eradikill. Small Company of the Year, CSS Pest Services, Dealey, Eradikill, Pest Risk Management Group, Large Company of the Year, Pest Solutions, Rent-A-Kill, Contigo. Sole Trader of the Year, Peladex, SLR, Squeakaboo. Innovation of the Year, Contigo, Lancashire Bird Control, Pest Solutions. Sustainable Initiative of the Year, Lancashire Bird Control, Luton Borough Council, and Pests in Peace. Unsung Hero of the Year, Charlie Swan, Eradikill, Kelly Wilson, Pest Risk Management, Natasha Kulinski, Orkin. Certainly unsung because nobody's ever heard of them. Local Authority of the Year, Bury Council.
Coming from you there, wasn't it? A little bit of it. That's literally the name of the category, the unsung hero. We're not supposed to know who they are. They're an unsung hero, you knobhead.
They're definitely unsung because nobody's ever heard of them. Oh. Bury Council, Liverpool City Council, and Luton Borough Council. I think that's it. I've lost my bits of paper. That's it. That's your nominations.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing every year, isn't it? Which is, how do you write a good application? What's it look like? And, you know, how do you move forwards from there? Should there be a stronger weighting to people who have been nominated by their peers over self-nominations? Arguably so. But at the end of the day, I still think that there's a lack of people putting in nominations either for themselves or other people. So I know a lot of these categories, you know, people were getting into it by default because there was there wasn't enough people in there.
The problem is, though,
was it last year or the year before? I nominated a lot of people, and I thought that let's see, you know, nominated one of the councils we work with because they're brilliant. Nominated some pest controllers I know who are really good, some businesses, etc. Every single one of them just got an email saying you've been unsuccessful. and it says nominate. It doesn't say this is an application for, and it's almost impossible to get people to win that who are not nominating themselves, because those who shout loudest will win. Those who know their business inside out, who can say, this is who we are, this is what we do, da 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 da. So effectively you end up with nearly all of the categories are being won by people who are nominating themselves, which just turns people off, doesn't it? Because it's problem, like you can't compete.
Thing is, it must. I'm not sticking up for anybody in particular, but it must be really hard to be a judge when you've got a pile of paper. You might not even know the people that are applying to win. All you've got is a dossier of paper on somebody, and you've got to read through it, and you've got to judge from what's on that paper, isn't it?
But Hugh, what I'm saying to you is, this is why I don't like the process, because it says nominate. So I could say, I nominate Lex to be the unsung hero, but it doesn't want a nomination. It wants an application. It wants you to say, I nominate Lex because he's done this. And it wants us to write a 2-page essay on why Lex is the person. And the reality of it is, no, when you say nominate someone, a nomination is not an application. And then as a result, those who know the process and know the system, you know, Julia Pittman, who was on here, she said it herself, we've won that many because I guess I just know how to write a good application. You know,
it's the same as writing a tender, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can put your name in. Oh yeah, I want to go for that tender. Oh, do you? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, put your name in the hat then. Oh yeah, Guardian Pest Control. But then Killline send in 20,000 SSIP CQMS accreditations and everything, and the judge goes, oh yeah, well they're going to get it because they've evidenced their application.
And here's the other thing, nobody actually knows what the judging criteria is. When Clive went down one year, I spoke to him about it afterwards, and he said, oh, at the ceremony they said to us this year, our overriding thing was we are looking at green. We wanted it to be sort of green and what you'd done and da da da. And I was like, all right. I was like, did anybody tell you this? And they're like, no. Like, so they've got all these things in, and then after they've got them in, they've went, what we're going to judge them on this year, guys? Like, nobody tells you. So you might have wrote a thing about, you know, I might have went for Killline as the best small business about how I've helped people with this problem or that problem, or, you know, I've went down the DEI route, I've went down the inclusion and equity route, and I've done really, really well. And then they might turn around and go, well, actually, we're looking at green. I'm like, I should have told them about the honeybee removal work that we've done. I should have told them about this. For me, it needs to be a lot clearer what you are going to be judged on. Because if I say, pick one of them categories now, like large pest controller, what are they looking at in the best large pest controller? Yeah. Best local authority. What is the judging criteria for that category? Like, nobody knows. So they ask you to write an application. Well, they don't ask you to write a nomination, but then it's got to be an application. You've almost got to go like, I think it's going to be, and I'm going to suggest them for this. Like, it's like writing it. It's like someone saying to you, are you available for a tender for the NHS? And you go, yeah, I am. And they go, that was a chance to put your application in. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh yeah, well, we're not going to tell you what you're going to be judged on either. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like the industry is becoming disengaged with the Pest Awards, and I want the Pest Awards to win. I want them to be good. I want people to go, this is great, let's get behind it. You know, because at the minute, if you look, nearly every single one of them is a BPCA member, which means for me that there is a lot of the industry who are not engaging. Yeah. You know, that's what I would suggest.
I'm glad you said that, because it's there is definitely, it shows that divide, doesn't it, between those who hold stock in awards and those who don't, and, you know, companies that are probably big enough to hold a member of staff who does write tenders. That is their job. They don't get on the tools. They don't, you know, do anything else. Their job is to package everything together and write an email to make that company look as good as possible. And that's it. I don't
Well, let's
believe.
put it this way, Al, right? On Best Large Company, Rent-A-Kill could literally write, we've extended into the USA
Rent-A-Kill.
and become like the thingy, and we are now making more money than they physically said possible. Who else can compete with that? Like we're exporting, we're doing this, we're doing that, but will they win it? I don't know. It feels like there's a bit of a merry-go-round, a carousel of it's your turn this year.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it does, but and as you say, I mean, the one thing I would like to address, the elephant in the room is, you see all the time, you see it in it, but we'll say it and we'll get it out in the open. You go online, you have a look at it. The cries that it's a big conspiracy theory. It's a big conspiracy theory. The fact that it's all behind closed doors, people hand over bags of money and they buy the awards. And I just don't think that's true. I mean, if I was to be a really cynical, to have a look at it, you've got two guys from Pest who have two magazines. One of them's about pig and poultry and the other one's about pest management. Let's be fair, their actual sort of like engagement with the pest industry is one magazine only. You've got someone from Basis who, again, actual sort of like engagement with the industry is for a CPD scheme and not much else. And then the other two people almost always are the two CEOs of the trade associations, who I don't think are going to be forming a mysterious cabal anytime soon. Let's be brutally honest. And then the winner of, the overall winner of the last year, which just so happened this year to be Julia from that. Yeah. I don't think those six people could get together and form a reliable cabal or, conspiracy plot.
Syndicate.
A syndicate.
But you could definitely out of that lot form a clique, couldn't you? And you could sit there and say a lot of these people are sitting on the same committees in the same rooms, or at the very least they are part of all those organizations are sitting around the same tables at the same time. The rumor that what I got told, and I don't believe this to be true, is that the people who win are the people who pay for the advertising. And I truly believe that is just bitchiness from the people who are saying it. I genuinely believe that. I don't want that to be me. Yeah,
it's the manufacturers, distributors that pay for the advertising. It's Syngenta who's the principal sponsor.
When you buy the tables, the tables that you buy at the award ceremony.
You buy them after you've been told you've been nominated. You don't buy your tickets before you see the nominations.
All right. I was right then, was now that's clearly not the case. Yeah. However, that being said, if you're in a position where there's that much going around where people do believe it's a clique or whatever it is, that is immediately going to stop people from pushing forward. And I don't think it's a big fix for them. I just feel like there has to be some sort of transparency on who was nominated, why they were nominated, and what the judging criteria was. And then all of a sudden people go, I could win that.
I do know that Kevin said that he wouldn't judge any members of the MPTA. So he stood back. If any of the nominees were MPTA members, then he wouldn't judge them and he would declare an interest.
I mean,
what a knobhead. What a knobhead. I want Kevin to go, I think the MPTA should win on every occasion. MPTA member number one. I'm only joking.
Because arguably, anyone that comes in is either going to be sort of like MPTA or BPCA or that. I mean, noble as though that is, and I understand why he did it, and yet that is laudable to a point, but I'd want my CEO to be, defending my corner with it. You can take it both ways.
I was joking. I absolutely agree with you. If you have any conflict of interest at all, you should immediately stand back and say, I know that person, I'm not judging. That's what you should do.
But then you'd always have, you'd always be one, if not two people down, because everyone is going to be a member.
Well, you just make sure that there's enough on the committee that you can do that.
Or you just do it blind. You don't vote with the names. You don't see who the name of the company is. Which is I think what they should do. And I'll be surprised.
I've done that before, and everyone knows. We used to do blind judging in the farrier competitions, like where you would attach a tag to a shoe and send it in. Like I could have picked up any shoe and told you who had made it. Like don't you? You know off the application.
Is that because it had SM engraved on it?
No, I can remember one year. I was an apprentice and I'd submitted a shoe for application. As I walked into the judge's tent, the judge was going like that with the tickets to see what it was so he could award it to his lad. I was like, oh, fucking hell, whatever. Yeah. I just think a little bit of transparency.
Yes.
And ultimately, it feels like there's no competition for the places, for the winner. You know,
you wouldn't know from Fred, would you? What to put in the application, really?
Nothing.
Either you wouldn't know, or you go on Chat GPT and it would write it for you.
Yeah. But
even that, it's dangerous. So, sorry.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like Squeakaboo's going in for it second time, won it first time, year out, went for it again, right? But if like you knew why he'd won it or what it was being judged on, and he's down the road from you, think, do you know what it is? I'm going to give that a go next year. You know, your lads are on site and they go, haven't you heard that? We had it up here. Can you remember Danny White, who worked for Ecolab? Oh, no, it wasn't. It was Terminix, I think it was, before it went to Virgo. And he won, I think he won Best Young Pest Controller or Best Pest Controller, whatever it was. And we heard about that on numerous occasions from customers saying, oh, yeah, they've got that lad. That's like the best pest control in the country working for them. It was Danny who told them all, like, but fair play to him. Fair play to him. He won it. And they nominated him and he won it. And I think, you know, like there'll be people out there who go, no, we're going to go for that next year. We'll go for that. And it feels like there needs to be some competition to it rather than it being that's what they do over there and they just award it to themselves.
Yeah, you need to feel as though it means something, but also you're quite right. You can see the power that these things have when used properly at the end of the day. You know, you sit there, you do shout about it. You do make it sort of like part of your social media push for the next year until the next awards come around. You know, there's value in it. There's currency in these awards. So yeah, get them in, make them part of your plan. But yeah, we do need to get Simon on, I think, at some point to really explain to us.
Simon can fuck off. Simon's been asked to come on like 2 or 3 times and he's let her down on like the Tuesday before the Friday. I like Simon. I really like him and I can stand and, you know, carry on with him. But it's an absolute nightmare when someone lets you down on a Tuesday and I'm sure his excuse was something like, I'm sorry, I've got to go to the pub with my missus or something like that one. It was some shit excuse on it. That like, it's like, what? Like, you can't do that. Like, we've literally planned everything for you. I think it's happened 2 times or 3 times, whatever it is.
Oh yeah, that new Italian's open down the road. Yeah. Oh
yeah. I know they're prepared for you all week, but fancy a Vindaloo, you know.
You know what, Simon, we should get Kevin and Rosina on just to talk us through their decision-making processes, how they figure that out. They'll be a lot more willing to come on, I think.
Yeah.
Can ask.
Yeah.
We can only ask ever.
We can only ask. There you go.
What'd you say, Sean?
What a good idea. Let's get them on.
Be a good excuse.
Like, I do think if we got them on together, it would be a little bit like Robot Wars, wouldn't it?
What, we're just going to tape them to the wheelie chairs and push them down a hill at each other?
I'll have a pit. It'll be like Misfits Boxer, won't it?
Well, it'll be an entertaining podcast. Bosh. The weirdest game of Pokemon you've ever seen. Well, there we go. Right, we're into the final straights now. There was one other thing on our list, wasn't there, that we were going to talk about?
Oh,
tender.
That
was it. It was the tender, the hilarious tender. What
quickly before we finish on that, it would appear that that the Asian hornet thing they've just given up the ghost on, and now it's like if you find a nest, they'll come out and kill it, but that's it. It is clearly they're done. So if you are not getting prepared for them as a source of income, I would strongly suggest that you do. I don't know. I've heard a rumor that they are going to provide some specialist training via Killgerm, I believe. This is the rumor. And that in order for you to be able to do them, then you have to have done this specialist training, which is just wild, in it, because just a wasp nest, like we do like hundreds of them every year, but you know, they're no more dangerous than a wasp, etc., etc.
Don't see this as Marx really is the obstacle is the way. The training is not going to stop you being able to do what you do, but it will legitimize what you do, and it means that you can approach the councils when the councils are looking for someone. There's a wasp nest reported. Oh no, it's an Asian hornet. We need to find someone who has their Asian hornet certificate. It's going to be half a day online something. It's not going to be bad. It's going to be a great thing. So do it, and get yourself, ahead of the pack.
And here's the other thing. You just never know. If you do it and you learn one thing that helps you out, then it's worth doing it. And that's the truth. You can be a bullet about it and go, I don't need to do it. I'm not interested. Or you can just do it. Yeah, no, even though they've royally pissed me off, not that my opinion counts, I'll still do it.
He says, diving to the floor.
No, I dropped my pen, and you know what I'm like for playing with stuff. So I'm like,
oh, somebody was taking a pot shot at you.
Well, no, here's an interesting thing, and I don't know the answer to this. How come it seems like Kilgem always gets the rights to these training things? Because I know they train their MBU staff and How does that come about? Or is that an industry thing that people whinge over, or everyone's just happy for them to take the lead on it, or what?
I mean, people absolutely do whinge, but at the end of the day, Kilgem has a huge public face. It has the ability to network. Rupert Broom and before him his predecessor Jonathan Peck were phenomenal in their networking. Jonathan Peck set up NPAP, which is the National Pest Advisory Panel, that actually pulled together all of the councils around the UK and to talk to them about that. So not only did he talk to people, he created his own forum under which to bring them together. Like it or lump it, the rest of it, the Kilgem is a phenomenal powerhouse for getting in front of the right people. And it was the same with the glue boards. They were the ones who did the original glue board training. And then off the back of that, the other companies, everyone else, based their glue board training loosely on the syllabus produced by Rentokil, by Kilgem. It's just a case. Is it right? No. I'd like to see a much more level playing field. Is it what it is? Yes. Do they do it well? Arguably, yes. Let's be fair. They have a very high caliber of training and a very high caliber of technical support. There we go.
There's a quick one. Rupert says, how many specify what species of wasp nest is treated? Yes, they are yellow and black, and they die.
There we go. The highly technical, the yellow and black ones, buddy. But yeah.
Are we going to leave the tender? Because we're at time.
Nah, go for it. Go for it.
Sure.
7 minutes won't hurt. Go on.
Yeah.
Okay. This came up. A tender for Kent NHS community health providers. Kent Community NHS Trust employs 5,400 colleagues and wants pest control across all of their sites. The tender for 4 years is worth 40 grand.
Hang on. Is that 40 grand per year or 40 grand over the...
No, 40,000 for the life of the tender. 10,000 a year.
£10,000 a year.
That's the way that I read it anyway. Not £40,000 a year. And the breakdown is 15% is judged on technical and quality, 10% on social value and sustainability, and 65% on financial.
So with that, just a little bit of quick maths, 40 grand for 4 years, 10 grand a year, 5,000 employees. The price that they ascribe to a clean and healthy living environment free of pests is roughly £2 per employee per every 4 years. That's 50p a year per employee, isn't it? Or £2? Yeah, sorry, no, £2 a year.
I mean, that basically
£2 a year per employee.
Sure.
I was just going to say we were privy to some information about an NHS site which had been done, and I know the people who are providing the pest control. I know what they were charging, and it becomes clear why they are charging that. And like, this is the old thing, innit? You might walk around that site and see bait boxes with lids kicked off and things not stickered up correctly and blah blah blah. I don't hold the pest controllers responsible for that. I hold the customer solely responsible for that. If you want to buy a Samsung S26 and you want to spend 1,200 quid on it, then you've got every right to complain if your phone don't work. If you go out and buy a Samsung A10 refurbed with a cracked screen and it don't work, then that's your responsibility. You've put the money towards it. So it's easy for us to look at stuff and say, this is shit. Like, can't believe the pest controllers have done this, but they are literally working within the confines of what's been done. Is it right? No, but the pest controllers can't change that. It's the customer who has to change it, isn't it? And at them prices, like, imagine doing Safe Contractor for that. You've spent a week in the lads in the office for a week doing the work. It costs you £1,000 and blah blah blah, and £1,000 every year. So there's £4,000 gone of your, you know, £1,000 every year. You're 10, and you're literally they're wanting you to work for pennies, aren't they? And clearly they tell you that it's like 65% on money. Like, we're not really that bothered about what you do. We want it cheap, you know.
Cheap.
Cheap. We want it cheap. We want it cheap. And when it goes wrong, we're going to complain and we're going to ring someone else, and they're going to come in and say that you've done a terrible job. Yeah, of course we have. You paid for pennies.
Right. So do you believe that this is as a result of, so of course it's an NHS hospital, right? So they have other tenders going out all the time, yada, yada, yada. They'll have one for cleaning. They'll have one for the plants, you know, they'll have one for the facilities management. They'll have all of those. Now, within that, you see a lot of the time, and again, as Andy pointed out within his document there, Rentokil Group has a pest control division, you know, Virgo Group, Pest Control Division, or is it? Pest Control Division is relatively small. It's why we see like tenders going out for Weatherspoons, where it's actually like less than £50 a visit. It's going to be the same thing here. There is this skewed idea of what pest control's worth, because that hospital previously would have had its pest control bundled in to a facilities management company who would have been charging $5 million for the facilities management, and then as a bolt-on, as a, you know what, for a bit of a freebie for the cost of sort of like just the boxes and the bait, but not the time and the labor and the rest of it, we will put in pest control as well. So, you know, the time will be free because the guy who's coming around to change all of the, you know, X, Y, and Z, do all the facilities management stuff, we'll get him trained up as well. And so for the cost of just paying for the bait and the boxes, you can have that as an additional add-on. And then, of course, the next time comes around, the person who's doing the budgets was just like, oh, look at that line, pest control. We've been paying for the last 5 years, 40 grand for it. That's obviously what the cost of pest control is. Let's just put that up as the next tender. And there we go. System instantly broken. I would believe that's where it is, and where a lot of these problems lie, is the fact that pest control is often added as an upsell, as a bolt-on, as a sort of like sweetener to these much more lucrative landscaping and facilities management contracts that go out to these big groups. And it's skewed the value of pest control, because pest control is never sold independently to these big groups. It's sold as a package.
I get that. However, I think if you are the NHS and you are employing very clever people to organise your pricing and your tender requirements, etc., etc., if you organise it and you get it wrong, and the money that you are, there must be something in your head if you are that person that goes, we've got all this for 40 grand, 10 grand a year. You know, like there must be something. It's like someone walking up in the street, isn't it, going, I've got a brand new S26, yeah, I'll sell you for 50 quid. Do you think it's broken? Do you think it's legit? Do you think it's stolen? Like, if something looks too good to be true.
You have a concept of what a car is worth. If I asked you, how much would it cost to clean every single window on a, you know, in that NHS hospital, inside and out? Give me a ballpark figure for what that should be right now.
But Al, remember, as much as we have sales training, buyers have buyer training at that level as well, and they know exactly what it costs to put a man on there, and they know when they are.
The buyer training would go so far as to look at the pest management industry, though.
Aren't we also saying though that those people are allowed to take risks? Because, as we said on the previous podcast, you said that, Alex, you said there was a study into MRSA being carried by flies. Now, what is the risk of a rat getting into a high risk surgery area? It's pretty high. It's happened. So are they playing Russian roulette with risk at the cost of money? Because they wouldn't do it with Legionella, would they?
No, exactly that. And I think it's because there is a fundamental misunderstanding of what we do, the value that we bring to the table. And it's exactly that, because as you've said, it's the value it brings to the table.
The NHS, they must have had enough negative experiences of cheap pest control that they're standing there thinking, yeah, there must be someone, but it's not. It's like, how much can we squeeze them? How much can we squeeze them? How much can we squeeze them? And I understand they've got a budget, and they'd probably come on and say, listen, we have a pot to play with. That's what we've got. That's where we're at. And that's fine. The point I'm making is, do not kick the pest controllers for shit pest control when they are paying for shit pest control. Like, you get what you pay for. They know it, we know it, we all know it.
That's it.
Right.
So, just for anyone who's interested, I have put a copy to the No Small Matter report and the featured article there. Because if you do go for these tenders and the rest of it, and you want to start to have these conversations with these larger companies to give the value of pest management, or more specifically, as Sean's saying, the cost that is associated with bad pest management or underfunded pest management, have a look at this report. You might be able to pull some facts and figures out of it and have a stronger case to say something like, the global industries lose £1 billion a year through mismanagement, closures, and reputational damage. How much of that do you want to be from your pocket? Have a look at it. It's all out there to read and have a look. It might help you just up negotiate what you're trying to do at the end of the day. So there we go. A little bit of something for it.
Next week we have on Elaine Bliss. So that'll be a good episode. Say good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Night, everybody. Night, Sean.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you for listening to the Beauties and Beasties podcast.